So let's talk about one of the biggest, weirdest mysteries out there. Time itself. I mean, we all feel it, right? Second by second, ticking away. But what if I told you that the future isn't this big, open, unwritten thing we imagine it to be? What if it's already there, just waiting for us to arrive? Yeah, let's get into it.
You know, it all kicks off with something so incredibly obvious that we almost never stop to think about it. In space, you can go anywhere you want. Up, down, left, right, forwards, backwards. Total freedom. But time? Nope. With time, we are all stuck on a one-way street, perpetually moving from what was to what will be. So why? Why is there this cosmic rule that only lets us go in one direction?
Here's a great way to think about it. You're on a road trip, you miss your exit, you realize you left your wallet at home. What do? You just turn the car around. Simple, right? But in life, in time, there are absolutely no U-turns. You can't just rewind yesterday and fix that dumb thing you said, or go back and relive that amazing moment. We are all just being swept along in this current that we can't fight. And that difference, that's our mystery.
So yeah, let's frame this whole thing properly. We're on a one-way trip through our entire existence, and figuring out the why behind that trip, well, that's the key to unlocking a secret about reality that is frankly gonna blow your mind. This right here just nails it visually. Space is like this huge, open map you can explore however you want. But time? Time is a river, and we're all just sitting in a boat, being carried downstream whether we like it or not. So the real question becomes, what's pushing that river? What's the engine driving us forward?
All right, our first big clue comes from a giant of physics, something you probably heard about in science class. Some people call it the law of mess, and it's pretty much the reason time seems to have a direction at all.
The fancy term is entropy, which is really just a scientific way of saying things get more disordered, more random, messier. And one of the most fundamental, totally unbreakable rules of our entire universe, the second law of thermodynamics, says that the total amount of messiness, of entropy, always goes up. Think about an egg. It's a perfect example. You can take a nice, orderly, low-entropy egg and very easily scramble it into a chaotic, messy, high-entropy state. But have you ever seen a pan of scrambled eggs just spontaneously unscramble themselves back into a perfect egg in a shell? No way. Of course not. That process is a one-way street.
And that's the big takeaway here. The reason we feel time moving forward, what scientists call the arrow of time, is because we're living inside a universe that is just constantly and unstoppably moving from order to disorder. Our brains see that progression of messiness, and we experience it as the flow of time. But, believe it or not, that's only half the story. So let's get to our second clue. And honestly, this one is a bombshell. It comes from a guy named Albert Einstein, who didn't just question our idea of time. He smashed it into a million pieces.
See, for hundreds of years, we all thought about time the way Isaac Newton did, like a giant clock in the sky, ticking at the exact same rate for every single person, everywhere in the universe. It was absolute. But Einstein's theory of special relativity proved that's totally wrong. He showed that time is relative. The faster you rocket through space, the slower time actually ticks for you. Time isn't universal, it's personal.
This completely radical idea led Einstein to an even more incredible conclusion. He realized that if time is personal, if it flows at different rates for different people, then my now might not be the same as your now. That comfortable, cozy idea of a single present moment that we're all sharing, it just evaporates.
And this is the part that really bends your brain. There is no universal now. For real. If someone was on a spaceship zipping past Earth at almost the speed of light, their now could actually contain events that for us are still in the future. So those clear, hard lines we draw between past, present, and future, they're not real. They are an illusion, just a really convincing one.
Okay, so let's put our clues together. On one hand, we have time moving forward because of entropy, because things get messier. But on the other hand, we have Einstein telling us that the present moment isn't even a real thing. So when you smash those two ideas together, you get a picture of reality that is just staggering.
This is the incredible paradox we're left with, right? How can we be moving forward through time if the idea of now is just a trick our minds play on us? What does that mean for the past and, maybe more importantly, for the future? Well, the answer that modern physics points to is as simple as it is profound. It suggests that every single moment,
everything in the past, everything in the present, and everything in the future, they all exist at the same time. They're all equally real.
This idea has a name. It's called the block universe theory. It imagines all of reality, all of space, and all of time as one giant four-dimensional block. And inside this block, every event that has ever happened or ever will happen, from the Big Bang to this very second to the end of the universe, already has its own set of coordinates. It's all just there. Fixed.
Okay, the absolute best way to wrap your head around this is with the film reel analogy. Imagine your entire life is a movie that's already been printed on a reel of film. Every single frame, your first day of school, you listening to this right now, your 80th birthday, it's all already there on the reel. Our consciousness, our awareness, is like the light of the projector. It just shines on one frame at a time, which creates the illusion that the story is unfolding moment by moment. But the whole story, it's already there from beginning to end.
So, wow. If this is even possibly true, if this is how reality works, what on earth does that mean for us? For our lives, our choices, for who we think we are? What are the implications here?
Well, the first big takeaway is that our powerful feeling of time passing, of flowing, is just an illusion. It's our consciousness moving through the already existing landscape of space-time. And that leads to a really heavy idea. The future isn't some open sea of infinite possibilities we get to create. It might actually be a fixed destination that's already on the map, and we just haven't gotten there yet.
And that, right there, brings us to the final, haunting question that physicists and philosophers have been wrestling with for over a century. If the movie of your life is already printed, are your choices really yours to make? Or are you just playing out a part that was written into the very fabric of space-time from the very beginning? Physics can show us this model of reality, but what it means for free will, well, that's a question we're all left to think about.